It's time to cut away. Look at somebody and say, you got to cut away some things. Look at somebody else and tell them, you got to cut away some things. As you take your seat, say, it's time to cut away. As I was praying and as I was reading these things, something happened this morning that didn't quite add up, but now it adds up. Usually my grandson, he'd get up and run downstairs and want his muffin and milk every Sunday morning. Come down there waiting. This morning he was asleep. He didn't want to get up. He cried. He didn't want to wake up. Then when he got up, he usually turned on, started watching Power Rangers, watching something on Netflix, just watching TV. But he was just sitting there, not doing nothing this morning. Just sitting there looking and staring. And First Lady said, what's wrong? He said, I'm stressed out. So you stressed out? So I'm stressed out. So what you stressed out about? He said, over life. And I was thinking about that. There's a lot going on with people that you don't see. And people that you feel that should be stressed out are stressed out. And you wonder what they got to be stressed about. Life itself can stress you out. If you don't cut away some things, you'll be stressed out. If you don't let go of some things, you'll be stressed out. If you don't take care of some things, you'll find yourself stressed out. And today we see that the people, the children of Israel, were at a point getting ready to go into the promised land, but God told them no. Wouldn't that stress you out? I mean, the promised land right in front of you. There is nothing that you done defeated all the enemies. You done did everything you need to do. There is nothing in your way, and God tell you can't go in right now. That'll stress you out. Everybody that you knew, all your parents and grandparents, all of them died in the wilderness because they didn't believe. Oh, man. Everybody you knew that taught you, that talked to you, died in the wilderness trying to get to the promised land. Now you're there, and God said you can't go in. So today, I want to talk about how God uses breaking points in our lives to let us see our own strength. We must understand that strength doesn't always come from what we do well. But strength comes from what we get past, what we overcome, that we thought we'll never get through. That's where your strength comes from. Things that you get past that you didn't think you can get past. You know, while you're in it, you crying, you complaining, you're hollering, you're screaming, and you say, I know God can make a way, but you don't believe at the time because you're going through so much, you don't know what's going to happen. And when it happens, and then you feel like you're in a nervous breakdown. But once you come out of it and look back, you realize you were stronger than you thought you was. You were stronger than you thought you was. Listen, many won't understand this or learn this until after they reach their breaking point. What I'm trying to say is that you'll never know how strong you are until you have no choice but to be strong. When you can't give up because you have more than you depending on you. See, you'll never know how strong you are until you put in a position you have no choice but to be strong because you're looking at your children, you're looking at your family, you're looking at your spouse. They depending on you. You got to be strong for them. See, when you ain't got to be strong for nobody but yourself, you'll find yourself being weak. You'll find yourself saying, I can't do it. You'll find yourself pulling back. You'll find yourself holding back. You'll find yourself balling up, crying. Staying in the bed longer than you should stand, not getting in, not pushing yourself because you ain't got nobody but you. And you start feeling pity and shame about your own self. But when you got somebody depending on you, you'll find inner strength that you thought you never had. That's why a lot of times you see parents going to work when they don't want to go to work when they don't feel well. If it's just you, you'll stay at home. You see a lot of single people miss work all the time because ain't nobody depending on them. You ain't got to push when it's just you. But when you have someone depending on you, you'll find yourself pushing more than you are pulling. Whether you realize it or not, at this point is where transformation begins. At this point of your life, that's when God moves us from our breaking point to our turning point. Mentally, physically, and spiritually. When you get to your breaking point, God begins to switch something in you. And you become more mentally stronger than you were, physical stronger than you are, to endure things that you never thought you could endure. And spiritually, if you trust God, your faith will begin to build like never before when you're at your breaking point. And something that we've been praying for and haven't received them yet is because we haven't been broken yet. See, some things you ain't received yet. You wonder why you've been praying, and you haven't received it. God ain't did it yet because you haven't been broken yet. You haven't been broken yet. Some things we only receive once we're on the other side of our breaking point. As I said so many times before, I've been preached this multiple times. Before we get past our comfort zone, God's blessings is on the outside of our comfort zone because there's no growth in comforts and there's no comfort in growth. I preached that many times. You can't think you're going to grow if you want to stay comfortable. Can't get no blessing if you want to stay comfortable. You got to get outside your comfort zone. You got to move past being comfort. When I had preached one time that growth and comfort cannot coexist. They don't coincide. It's like Amos 3:3. How can two walk together except they agree? Comfort and growth do not agree. You can't grow and be comfort because you're being stretched, you're being pulled. And anytime you're being pulled, you're in pain, discomfort, but you're growing. If you're comfortable, if your comfort is more important to you than your blessing, then you will not receive your blessing because your blessing doesn't exist in the parameters of your comfort. If your comfort, so you can ask people to do certain things, they like, I ain't comfortable doing that. No, I want to stay right here where I'm at. Can you do, no, I'm going to stay right here. So if you're waiting on your blessing and you don't get out your comfort zone, your blessing that you've been waiting on, you talking about, I've been going to church for years. I've been praying day after day, Sunday after Sunday, month after month, year after year. Your blessing do not exist in your perimeter of your comfort zone. The one with the issue of blood, she had to get out of her comfort zone. She had to go beyond. Anytime you want a true blessing, a miracle, it got to be beyond your comfort. Got to be beyond your comfort. Listen, church, if you're going to be blessed, then you're going to have to learn how to be uncomfortable. You're going to have to accept the word no. You're going to have to get used to hearing not yet. And you got to endure what people tell you later. We don't want to hear no. We don't hear people say not yet. We don't hear people say, well, I'll do it later. But if you want a blessing, you got to get used to hearing those words. Got to get used to it. Most people are unwilling to hear God clearly until they are broken. See, you can come to church Sunday after Sunday, sing in the choir all you want to, dance all you want to, shout all you want to, all those things you're doing. But until you are truly broken, you will not be able to truly hear the voice of God the way you need to hear. What I mean is, as long as everything's going okay, you ain't listening to everything God trying to tell you to do. See, when you get broken, when you get a point that you're at your breaking point, then you're willing to hear God. You're willing to pray like you need to pray. You're willing to open up and let some advice come in. If we want to experience great development, then we must be willing to deal with great discomfort. Think about it like this. When you have a season where you have your most discomfort, that's when you will have your biggest development. God allows us to go through these seasons, these moments of discomfort, so we can birth what's in us. It's where God takes, and some call it, I hear a lot of older folks say this, God done took me on down through there. Anybody heard that before? I done been down through there. See, when God take you down through there, that's a whole different ball game than going through a little something. But when you say I done been down through there, somebody that really been broken, somebody that went through some things, they know what you're talking about. Everybody can relate to, I've been down through there. I've been drugged through the river. I've been drugged through the water. See, I've been drugged through the dirt. Everybody don't understand that type of language because everybody haven't been broken yet. And when God take us down through there, believe me, you don't need nobody to teach you how to pray. So I hear somebody say, a lot of times you hear people say, well, I don't know how to pray. You ever hear anybody say that before? You ever heard anybody, if you hear somebody say they don't know how to pray, they haven't been broken yet. They haven't reached their breaking point. Anytime somebody tell you that they don't know how to pray, that means they ain't reached their breaking point. They ain't been down through there. They ain't been down through there. The thing about getting to your breaking point is the prayer you hear in church, the elegant prayer. You know when people up here, Father, in the name of Jesus, I come to you. Father, it's me that's standing in need of prayer. God, I tell you, oh, Father, all that. That ain't the type of prayer you need. You ain't got time to get down and start saying, oh, God, it's me, God. I come to you in the name of Jesus. Oh, Father, you ain't got time to just do that regular prayer. You ain't got time for all that. When you're truly going through there, when you're truly going down through there, when you are truly at your breaking point, there's only going to be 3 to 4 words you're going to say. God, help me. That's all you need. Or I give up. I can't do it. That's all. You don't need all that. God, when you're really going through, you say, God, help me. You don't need all that other stuff. That's a prayer right there. God, I give up. I can't do this by myself. God, help me. That's all you need. That's a prayer right there. That's the best prayer you can have when you say, God, help me. All this other stuff is formalities. Oh, yeah. That you ain't going through nothing. If you got time to say all that and put everything in order, you ain't really going through nothing. Because when you're going down through there, you're too busy crying. You can't get no words out. You're mumbling. Okay. Like I said, if you ain't been down through there, I ain't making no sense to you right now. Because you're going to say, I always can do a good prayer. Yeah? Because you ain't been down through there yet. Get on down through there. So you don't need a prayer like that. See, because you get a prayer like that means you can handle it yourself. You don't need that type of faith or that type of prayer when you can handle things yourself. But when life seems like it's against you, when you feel like you're living, see, when you ever feel like you're living in that 2 Corinthians 4 and 8, see, when you feel like your life is a 2 Corinthians 4 and 8, trouble on every side, when you feel like you got trouble on every side, every time you turn around is one thing. If it ain't one thing, it's another. Every time you turn around, somebody call you with this. Every time you turn around, somebody needs this. Every time you turn around, somebody asks you for this. Every time you turn around, you ain't got this, all this over here. When you live in a 2 Corinthians 4 and 8 season, you ain't got time for those elegant prayers. All you got time to say is, God, help me. When you ain't got nowhere to turn, no one to call, and it'll seem like nobody can help you at all. That's when you will fall to your knees, and we heard on Friday, you'll look up, step out. You look towards the hill from which comes your help. You don't mind looking up. The people don't even believe in God. When they get to a breaking point, they look up. What you looking up for? You don't believe what's up there. People don't, I don't believe, I don't go to church. But let them get to a breaking point. They look, I be like, what you looking up to? They got higher power, the universe, everything. They don't care who give them help. They just want some help. Oh, Uncle L, Uncle L, she used to say, I'm easy to make a believer out of. It don't take a lot to make me believe. I don't need to learn everything the hard way. You know, they say, Junebug, understanding is the best thing you can get. I didn't understand it when you used to tell me all the time. But I came to find out understanding is the best thing that you can get. So I didn't, because I wasn't going to church, I didn't know the Bible said all you get an understanding. I didn't know that was a scripture. They tell me all the time, I'm like, what? I don't need to understand everything. Oh, yeah, yes, you do. See, we all have a breaking point. We all have things that come against us that seem to break us. Trials, tribulations, and tests. Going through one of these three things, if you go through a trial, if you go through a tribulation, if you go through a test, eventually it's going to break us. I don't care who you are. If you stay in a trial, a situation, a test long enough, I'm telling you now, it will break you. You know why? Because it's designed to break you. Somebody asked me why in the spirit. Somebody, why design? Because it's going to do one or two things. It's going to happen when you go through a test for a long time. You're going to have to make a decision. Either you're going to trust God and follow him, or you're going to go back to what you know. I remember I stopped selling drugs. I was all happy. And then it got difficult. I went back to what I know. Then what you do? You go back to what you... That's sustaining me. I was doing good, but then when times got too hard, I went back to what? What you know. Back to selling and Stephen, because that's what I know. I know God. See, it's going to either push you one way or the other. If you... Don't tell you ain't never been down through there. You ain't never been broken. You be like, I ain't going to go back. You ain't been broken. You don't know what you're going to do when you're back up against the wall. You say you trust God now, but you ain't got no reason not to trust him. The little stuff you're going through ain't nothing. Some of y'all, I'm telling you, some of y'all kids, it's easy right now because you lean on your parents. Get to a point you ain't got no parents. You ain't got nobody to take care of you. You ain't got nobody that you think ain't looking out for your best interest, but your parents are really looking out for your best interest, even when it don't feel like it. Get to a point you ain't got that. Yeah, you're a little upset about what they don't do sometimes, but don't have them doing nothing no time. You can't go to them. You can't call them. Ask somebody that lost their parents how it feel when you can't call mom or dad. It's a whole different ball game. When you can't pick that phone up, see, right now you got an opportunity to call and talk to them. You don't call and talk to them. You don't check on them, don't do none of that stuff. You don't worry about them because they right here. You take them for granted. Don't even realize you're taking them for granted. But there's going to come a time you ain't going to have them in your life. There's going to come a time you're going to talk, you can't talk. There's going to come a time you're going to wish you could pick up the phone. There's going to be a time you wish they holler at you. There's going to be a time you wish they cussed your tail out just to hear their voice. There'll be a time you wish they just slapped their mess out of you. You wouldn't care. Just slap me one more time. Whoop me one more time. I'm telling somebody right now, you don't know what you got till it's gone. You ain't been down through there. You haven't. Ooh. It's different. It's different. It's a different life. It's a different life. You better know God when you ain't got nobody who really got your back. You better know God when you ain't got nobody going to really support you. You better know God. My God. I feel someone sitting here listening to me today is having them same challenges today because they at their breaking point. I know that you may have pain. I know that you may have a little discomfort. There may be some things in your life that you wish would work out a little differently. But I tell you now, you have a choice to make. As you sit there thinking, what should I do? You're going to do one or two things. Either you're going to trust God and move forward, or you're going to retreat and go backwards. Whether you realize it or not, you're at a point where God can show you a version of him and a version of you that you've never seen before. This is what Paul was talking about in 1 Corinthians 2:9. 2:9. Eyes have not seen, nor ears have heard. A lot of times when you're at that breaking point, God's trying to show you who you are that you don't even know who you are. God's trying to show you what he can do for you if you just allow him, if you just trust you. He said, eyes haven't seen, so you don't think you can make it through this. You don't think it's a way out. You don't think. So you ain't never been to a point that life and death was truly in God's hand. See, every day it is. Every day, life and death is in God's hand, every day. But when you get to a point you realize it for real, the only person who can really save you is God, you'll start looking at life a lot different. And you get to wonder, did I make the right choices? How I really been living? Right now, we don't walk around thinking about how I live. We just live. The thing about a breaking point will reveal what's on the inside of you. I remember the children of Israel. You see, the children of Israel, they was crying out to God to be delivered from a situation. See, they were crying out, so they were crying out, but then when they got to the point where Pharaoh took the straw from them and told them to make bricks without straw, they really started crying then. Because then he came and said, I want you to make double. You ain't got no straw, and you got to make what you used to make without it. You ain't got the material. You ain't got the goods. You ain't got the know-how. You ain't got anything, but you got to still make what you was making, double what you was making without what you had to make it with. And they got to cry out to God to be delivered, right? But when their help showed up and God led them out, those same people, those very same people that did all that crying, remind me of some people that I know. Begging and crying and praying for God to make a way out of no way. But when God finally show up, those same people doing all that snotting and crying on the altar, those same people would turn their back on God. They came to the altar Sunday after Sunday, crying and asking this and asking that. Those same people, those children of Israel, turned their back on God. Those very same people talk about how much they love God. How much they love church. Those same people, they encourage so many other people to come to church to get to know God. When they hit their breaking point, they turn their back on God. Are you going to trust God and follow him, or are you going to retreat and go backwards? Those same people is talking about how much they love God. When their backs were against the wall, when trouble came against them, when they had to make a decision, they turned their backs on God. Let me help somebody out, because I can hear it in my spirit again. Let me help somebody out real quick, because I can hear it in my spirit. I can hear somebody out there. They're going to listen to this later on. I can hear somebody talking. But let me help you out a little bit. let me help you out just a little bit here. Because I can hear in my spirit someone saying, just because you left the church doesn't mean you don't love God. That's true. But if you left because of a problem that you didn't give God an opportunity to fix, that's a whole different ball game. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. Let me help somebody out. Watch this. Because you loved the church when you was there, right? When you was going. Now you're saying you don't have to go to church to love God. What I'm saying is, it's not that you left the church. It's the things you did and the things you said before you left. See, when you was in church, anytime something happened to somebody else, you told, don't worry about that, God is in control. You got to trust God in every situation. People you talk to on the street, they're going through something. You got to trust God in every situation. You can't just give up because something don't go your way. But when your back gets against the wall, you leave the church. You give up on God. You say, I ain't give up on God. You gave up on God because you didn't give God the opportunity to work it out. Because everybody before you left, you told them wait on God. But you didn't wait on God. It's tight, but it's right. It's tight, but it's right. You can't say you love God in one breath and leave with the next one just because things don't go your way. On my job, I want to leave because certain things happen. But I said, God gave me this job, then I'm going to leave, and God don't tell me to leave? See, God can't tell you to leave someplace that he placed you at. If God placed you somewhere, then God's going to move you. He's going to move you. See, you got to trust God when you get to your breaking point. I remember I was at work. They put me out there in that cold. I called my wife. I'm just going to leave this place. I was at my breaking point. God said, look across that river. I'm looking across the river for. I'm just going to go across the river. Shoot. He said, I created all this. I'm thinking to myself, now what that got to do with the price of tea in China? That you created that river. I'm out here in this cold, God. You talking about look at the river. It ain't make no sense to me. But I'll tell everybody else, when they get ready to quit, I'm telling them, you got to trust God. No, I can't trust God. Okay. I'm talking about me. I ain't talking about no. I'm talking about the stuff I did. It ain't got nothing to do with no. I'm telling everybody, I'm getting out of here. It's crazy. It got me out in this cold. Hey, will God make a way? He ain't made no way yet. What he waiting on? And then I go back. I say, God, you don't see me down here? Look across the river. What sense do that make, God? Now I'm mad at God now. He talking crazy. He talking, look. Now I ain't got mad at God. Now why I'm mad at God for? Because he ain't doing what I want him to do. Got mad when I got laid off. And Jim Dean, why I got to get laid off? I'm doing everything right. See, it's always about you. God said, I got you out here. Nobody come out there because it's too cold. It's too far to walk. I ain't got no visitors. Just me and the cold out there. God said, I can talk to you. He said, it's your father's house. I said, all right. 2 days later, here comes the plant manager. You can't be out here no more. We're going to put you up here. Just 2 days later. Come out there and get me from out there. We're going to put something else out here. We got something else for you to do. But understand, I'm going to give up too early. God knows what he's doing. But I got to know God in those 2 days better than I knew him before. But God was preparing me for when I got COVID. I don't know what God would say. You don't know what God put you in a situation. He put these things, you got to endure this stuff. Because there's always a reason. Because something coming down the pipeline that you can't handle in your current condition. Your body is not conditioned to handle what you get ready to face. because a situation coming down the pipeline that you're not ready to handle. And God got to build your endurance up, build your faith up in him, build your trust up in him. Know that he is God. Stand still and know that I am God. I know I'm way off, but that's okay. Whew. The thing about being at a breaking point is you may feel that God is not doing things quick enough, fast enough, or even to your liking. It doesn't mean that God's not working on your behalf. Listen, church. A lot of times when we get to a breaking point, it seems as if we're at a standstill, not able to move forward. And this, once again, remind me of the children of Israel standing at the border of the Jordan after Moses had died. Remember I started off talking about the children of Israel was at the promised land but couldn't go in? See, before they had to go across the Jordan to get to the promised land. And they standing at the Jordan, and Moses had just died not too long ago. And now they're at the Jordan now. Now, if they had Moses, they wouldn't even worry about standing at the river because they remember the Red Sea, right? They have faith that Moses can ask God, and God going to part the Red Sea for him. But Moses is gone now. And they talking about, I remember what and then the Bible started talking about, they was talking about what Moses did. And then all of a sudden, God talked to Joseph. He said, Moses is gone on. I'm just paraphrasing. You can read yourself. Moses is gone on. Moses done died now. You can't depend on Moses. You got to step up. He said, go to the border of the Jordan. The ones that carrying the ark, get them at the edge. Now pick you out 12 men from each tribe. Now we're going to do this thing. Because now I want you to get everybody. I want them to see the way I was with Moses, I'm with you. Now when you step in that water, they're going to just dry up on you. And they got to walk in the water there, they're looking. They get halfway, God says, stand still for a second. Hold on. Say, stand still. Watch me work. All of a sudden, they just dried up. They walked on the cross. See now, when Moses did, the Bible said, a strong east wind came, blowed all night long. But this time, he didn't have time for that. There was no time for a strong east wind. They couldn't wait all night long. They need to go right then. So they stepped out there and just dried. Boy, I'm telling you, God, won't God do it? See, that's why people worry about, well, now people say, it took me a long time to get this position. It took me a long time to get this or get that. It doesn't matter how long it took you. I'm not you and you not me. God has plans for you like he has plans for me. Our plans ain't the same. We all created with a different purpose, but our purpose serves God. So you don't worry about how long it took me to do something or how long it take you. I can't, man, he did that in 3 days. It took me 2 years to do it. Oh, well, did I do it? Too busy worrying about everybody else. Worry about yourself. Worry about yourself. Then, so now they drive up, right? Now once they get to the other side, before they go into the promised land, God's telling them, I can't let you go in like this. Now, I've probably never been me. I'll be like, hold on, God. Hold on now. We've been marching for 40 years in circles. We finally go across the river. The promised land about 5 feet away from me. I'm looking right. There it goes. And you talking about you can't let me go in like what? Smell bad or something? What's wrong? I mean, these are clothes you gave me 40 years ago. I ain't changed clothes in 40 years. Think about that. The Bible said the shoes and the clothes they had on grew with them. Ain't that something? Because these kids are little babies. Now they 30, 40 years old. They got the same clothes on. They ain't dry right now. Thread. I just think about it. Clothes still good. So what you mean I can't go in like this? God said there are some things that need to be cut off you before I can move you into your promise. See, some things that we got need to be cut off for God can move us to the next level. See, the children haven't been circumcised yet because their fathers all died in the wilderness. And because the children were not circumcised, now Joshua has to step up as the father figure. Now, typically, when they circumcised them as a child of Israel, they did it on the 8th day. So when you get 8 days old, they circumcise you. They still try to do that to this day, right? Now, these men are all now in their 30s and 40s. Now they got to get circumcised. Now, let me tell y'all something. Watch this. When there is something that you should have gotten when you was a child, but you didn't get it, it becomes more painful now that you're an adult, cutting away childish issues. I know somebody understand me. Like you're supposed to get chicken pox when you're young. When you get older, it's more deadly to you, ain't it? See, things you're supposed to get when you're a child, if you wait till you're older to get it, it's more deadly, it's more dangerous for you. Some understanding that you should get when you was a child, if you wait till you get an adult, it can be harmful to you. You don't know not to do this yet. At a certain age, childish things need to put away. The Bible says, when I was a child, I acted like a child, I thought like a child, I talked like a child. As I grew up, I put away childish behavior. Some things you need to put away. You got some grown men and grown women still acting like kids. And then when they get corrected, their mistakes cost them deadly. Some of them cost their lives, some of them cost their freedom. Okay, I'm going to leave that alone. Let me go on by my business. Let me get away. In some places and some things, God can't give us until we have some things cut away from us. God is saying to somebody today, there's some stuff that's on you that I need to cut away. Yes, I know that we don't live by those laws anymore. We're under the grace of Jesus Christ now, and we don't have to be circumcised of the flesh to make it in. But Paul let us know in Romans 2:29, there are some things that we need to cut away from around our heart. There's some things that we holding on that God said, I need to cut that stuff away if I'm going to put you on the next level. There's some stuff that you've been carrying so long, God is saying, I got to cut that stuff away before I move you into this next level of your ministry, in your walk. See, a lot of things that God get ready to do, you get ready to open the business, you get ready to open the ministry, you get ready to get a promotion, you get ready to do these things, and some things that God got cut away. You can't get in this ministry with that attitude. You can't get that promotion acting the way that you acted because you're going to lose it as soon as you get it. Have you ever seen somebody get a promotion, get a new house, get a new car? They lose it because they weren't ready for it. God didn't cut away what it needs to be cut away for them to sustain what they got. See, you can get a blessing too quickly. You can't hold it. You can't keep it because you weren't ready for it. And some things have to be cut away from you. Okay. Let me move on. Let me move on. Let me move on. These things are not cut away when you join a church. These things ain't cut away just because you're involved, you sing in the choir, dance on the dance team. That stuff ain't cut away then. The only way some of these things get cut away from you is when you lay before God. When you lay before God and say, God, everything that's not like you, I give you permission to cut it away. That's how you get that stuff cut away from you. I feel we gotten too comfortable with the things that we are carrying that God needs to cut away. And God is saying, in order for you to go to the next level, I have to remove some of those things. My question is, are you willing to allow God to cut away what is needed for you to move forward? I think about the men of Israel. Now you think about these men 30 years old, they 40 years old. Now they got to allow this other man that's not even a doctor, Joshua, to cut away what is needed for them to get in the promised land. They 30 years old, 40 years old, and now they got to get cut by Joshua. And they got to sit there and allow him to cut them. You know how painful that is? I ain't got no anesthesia, no kind of, nothing. Just cutting with an old knife made out of a rock. It ain't no smooth cut. It's bad enough when you got one of those surgical knives, they cut you, no. That hurt. But think about it, you got to, they saw it. Man. Shoot. I see you when y'all get out of there. I ain't got to go in. I pitched my tent right here. Shoot. I mean, what you doing? I'm building me a house. I know where y'all live. Y'all right there. Y'all come and see me. Y'all come and see about me when y'all get a chance. I'll be right out here. Get me outside the proper land for $200, Alex. I'm telling you. I'll watch how you cutting on him. Woo! I can't see it happening. But that's what you got to do for the promises of God. There's some stuff you don't want to let go, you got to let go. There's some stuff you got to give up that you don't want to give up. Are you willing to be cut? Are you, somebody got that. Somebody got that. Somebody got that. Are you willing to surrender your heart to God that he may cut away what's necessary moving forward? God bring us to a breaking point not to kill us. So, I mean, get some of this stuff up here. Let me show you what I mean. Let me see. Some of us, see, this is our heart. And our heart don't look like a heart to God. And God say, some of y'all jealous. And God just working. And you come to church and you might get a little cut here or there, you know. You listen in church sometimes, you know, you all right. And still don't like no heart, you know. And sometimes you clap when somebody gets something that you want. They got a new, you know, they got a new car. Man, I'm so happy about you. Not really. You ain't really happy because you want a new car, but God ain't blessed you yet. So you kind of just know, oh, man, I'm glad, man, that's a nice car. But you ain't happy. God said, I need to cut. So I need to cut. I need to cut on you a little bit. I need to cut on you a little bit because I need you. See, some of us got a lot to cut away just to get a little bit of heart. I mean, that's part of it. You know, some of us, man, some of us just be, woo-wee. Some of us, you know, we can tell a lie with the best of them. They're lying about everything. What this represent right here? Lie. I swear. How many times you been? I swear. I declare. They're lying. God, I got to cut that away from you. You lie too much. You lying about everything. Lying when it ain't even necessary to lie. You're lying. Stop lying. Mama, I was over so-and-so house. Mama, I promised I was here. No, I ain't been there. Hey, baby, I'm at work. You at work? How come I got 360 on you. I don't see you at work. What you doing in this? What town you in? They're lying. Kids lying to the parents lying to the kids, talking about, I'm going to get this. No, you ain't got no money to get it. Tell them they can't get it. Try to talk to somebody, talking about you got this and you got that. You ain't got nothing. Old folks say you ain't got a pot to pee in or when to throw it out. Just open space. Lying. God said, I need a big heart for you. God said, I'm cutting on you. I got to cut. Cut. You got too much to cut away, you know. Get your heart. Let him cut it away. Let him cut on you. Let him cut. You want to be healed. Woo-wee. I don't know if I need to mess with this one or not. You're going through some things. Every time you go to the doctor, you got a problem. Doctor tell you not to eat something, you steady eating. Tell me I got my medicine. See, he got to cut that out. Hard-headed. What you call it? Strong will. Strong will right here. Strong will. See, strong will, you just cut a little because your will's so strong, God can't cut nothing. That's how he cut them strong will. I'm going to do what I want to do. I don't care. I'll pay the price. Strong, look, you can't tell I'm cutting. I'm cutting, but God's like, I'm cutting a little. It's going to take you 100 years from then to even start cutting on you for you even look like a heart. Because you won't listen, but you want to get well. Come to the altar. Pray for this and pray for that. But then you go home and eat and do everything. Doctor, I can't cut on you. Can't cut on you. By the time God get ready to get finished cutting you, let me show you what you look like when God get finished cutting you. Look how much he had to cut off for you. A little bit of heart left. I'm just saying. Because you know why this is? God been cutting on you since you were 13 years old. Here you is now, 99. Just now trying to get it right. All the Methuselah ain't got it, still hard-headed. They told me ain't nothing like an old fool. The Bible says don't be foolish, right? I know people they gonna beat me. They probably let me put this on Facebook. They probably lock me up out of there. But that's the truth, though. Sometimes you're too old to be doing the stuff you're doing. You ain't got this age. You need to be listening. You got too old. Yes. Then you know them jokers, boy. Woo wee. I gotta get to these right here, boy. Them jokers that run their mouth all the time. Don't even worry about that. Them jokers that run, you know them jokers that be running their mouth, be cussing and fussing at the same time. Cussing, fussing, and trying to be praying too. What the? Boy, that's something. Kind of person that one breath about tell God on the next breath. What kind of mess is that? Well, I'm telling you, boy. I'm telling you. Talking about everybody in everybody's business. In everybody. Look, I don't know what your breaking point is, but you do. Your breaking point your breaking point might be drugs. But you know what's going on in your life, and here you complaining, but you ain't doing nothing to help yourself. You say you're going to church. You say you're reading the Bible. You say you're praying. On one hand, and on the other hand, you're doing everything that you're big and bad enough to do. And then you got the nerve to ask God to forgive you, and knowing good and well you're going to do it again next week. God said, I'm trying to cut. God be like, shh, hold on just a minute. Hold on just a minute. Hold on just a minute. Let me sharpen my doggone scissors on this joke. He got sharp. Some of us, he got sharp the scissors up on it. They cut so much, been cutting so long on it. The doggone scissors, he got dull on me. He trying to cut. God trying to cut them something. Woo! Some of us, well, I'm just saying, you got to let God cut on you. You got to let him cut on you. You got to let him cut on you. You got to let him cut. Ain't nothing wrong with letting God cut. Just let him cut you a little bit. They ain't going to hurt you. Just let him cut you. Look at somebody and say, I need to be cut on. Yeah, you got to be cut on. Got to be cutting on. Got to be cut on. You know, listen, church. Losing stuff is only a sign that God has something better for you. And that new thing you're asking God for, he can't bring it because you won't let him cut on you. God loves us enough that he'll show us what it is we need to cut away. See, for some of us, it can be lust. I ain't get to cut none of that. I ain't have enough paper up here for that. I just didn't have enough paper. If I had to cut on that lust, I have copper tone by the time I get finished, probably. I said, I'm going to leave that alone. I ain't going to fool with that. Sometimes you just need to know what you need to fool with. Just cut it away. See, for some of us, it can be talking about folks all the time and everybody's business. For some of us, it can be a relationship you need to cut yourself away from. It could be drugs, whatever. Listen, I may not know, but you know what your it is. You know, I ain't got to know. That God wants to cut away from you. Whatever is not cut away. You know what you don't cut away? That's what the God going to use to kill us. Whatever you don't cut away is what God going to use to infect your worship, infect your praise. That's why some of us can't get into service, because we're infected from what didn't get cut away from us. We're infected. And see, it's like this right here, this picture here. You know, we cutting away from what's holding us up. We cutting away from God. We cutting away from the branch. The Bible says that everybody need to be connected to the branch, to the vine. But we cut ourselves from the vine. We cut ourselves from the lifeline sometimes. You can't cut yourself from the tree that's holding you up and expect to stand up. You can't do that. You can't do that. Let me get out of here. 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 I mean, I'm just saying, you know, if you don't get that stuff cut, it affects your worship. It affects your praise. You can't worship like you want to worship. You can't praise God like you want to praise, because you got so much around your heart that you can't even be free in the spirit. You know, we say we got liberty here, but you ain't got liberty in your heart. That's a different thing. But let me get out of here. Let me close. I'm closing. You see, when people find out that they are pregnant, I'm closing with this right here. When people find out when they are pregnant, most of the time they get excited that they are carrying a baby. They're excited after they have the child, right? After they give birth. They take pictures and everything like that, right? They take all these pictures of the baby. They're so excited. But giving birth to what you are pregnant with is not as pretty as carrying it. You might got excited when you found out that you was anointed. You might got excited when you found out that God loves you enough that he died for you. You might got excited that you're carrying God anointed, telling everybody about the goodness of God, telling everybody that you got a calling on your life. But I'm here to tell somebody, when your water breaks. I might have to preach that one these days, when your water breaks. I'm here to tell you, when your water breaks, woo, it's time for you to give birth to what you are pregnant with. I believe somebody in here today, water is about to break in this building. What you've been carrying is about to come forth. What you've been walking towards is about to come to an end. But now it's time for you to give birth to what you've been carrying. You're about to give birth to what God has placed down into you. See, God then gave some of y'all dreams, gave some of y'all ambitions, gave some of y'all things that he wants you to do, and your water is about to break. And you get ready to excel. John, put this up. I want you to put this up. John 7:38. John 7:38. Somebody see this. See, when your water is about to break, when you're about to give birth to what you are pregnant in, the Bible says, he that believes on me, as the scripture say, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. That's why you're catching all kinds of hell, because God said, you believed on me. That's why the enemy is trying to come in like a flood, because you believed on God. I need somebody to shout like they realize that their water is about to break. I need somebody to shout like you know your water is about to break. That what you've been believing on is about to come true. I know you've been walking, I know you've been going through, but right now your water is about to break. You're about to give birth to what God has pregnated you with. I know I say I'm about to close, but I want you to know this, that the pain of the breaking point don't last as long as the pleasure of the breaking point. I tell you that God is about to birth something in here out of somebody that is about to give birth. That's why God has been pulling on you so much. That's why you got to push your way to church. See, you about to give birth. Your water is about to break. That's why it's so hard for you to get here. That's why the devil been messing with you. Because he wants your water to break and you have a miscarriage. Some of us in here have stillborn. Some people die with the still pregnant. Never gave birth to what God put in them. I heard one writer say, the graveyard is the greatest place ever because it got all these dreams and all these things that never got invented and all this stuff like this. People never know all these ideals, these great ideals that never came forth. They died with them. And this can happen to us. If we don't allow God to cut away, then God can't bring forth what He's pregnant with us because we got too much stuff around our heart. I know how I'm going to close. As I try to take my seat, I want to leave you with this. What you got to do is let Him cut on you. So you got to let God cut on you and don't take it personal. That's the hard thing to do, is not take it personal when God cut on you. And when God cut on you, sometimes the way He cut on you, He might tell you, go back and fix that thing. See, God said, you need to go fix that. Don't take it personal. Well, God, they did it. Don't take, no. I said, go back and fix it. Don't take it. Go fix it. That's Him cutting on you. But see, don't take it personal. It's not personal. See, God trying to make you birth what He got inside you. Don't take it personal. When God tell you you was wrong about that and that over there too, don't take it personal. When God tell you about those nouns in your life, those people, places, and things that you're going to, hanging around, talking to, don't take it personal. When God said, cut them loose. You don't need to go there no more. How many times I got to keep saying, if you're not the same person that you was, why you still going to the same place that you used to go? Why you still hang with the same people you used to hang with if you're not the same person that you used to be? That just don't add up to me. Man, I got to get out of here. I got so many yellow lights on my thing. God knew I ain't going to get out of here. I'm trying. But you need to make sure that what follow you, don't follow them. Somebody said, what? What follow you, I want you to think about what's following you. What you're dealing with right now that you don't want to cut it with. What you're dealing with right now that you don't want to cut loose with. You need to make sure that don't follow them. And them is your children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. What's hunting you, what's nagging you, what keeps you from doing things, don't let that stuff follow them. Don't let that follow them. Look at the things that you got to let go. The things that you have to stop doing. See, some of the stuff you got to stop doing may not be a sin. But you got to realize one thing. It's maybe not even be for you. But for your children, for your grandchildren, your great children. Because some of the stuff that you put up with that they make you go crazy, going to make them go crazy. They're going to react a different way if they got to deal with it. That's why you got to kill it now. So they ain't got to deal with it. They might can't. See, some of the stuff I dealt with, some of my kids, they couldn't deal with some of that stuff. You know, we talk about slavery and stuff like that. How many times I couldn't deal with that? That's why they had to take care of it. So I wish they would have talked to me like that. You've been dead because you couldn't handle it. That's why oh my God. So I'm saying the things you're dealing with, you might done dealt with alcohol. You done dealt with drugs. Your kids might can't come out of there. You need to kill that alcoholic spirit, that drug addict spirit right now, that lust spirit right now. Some of the things that you're dealing with right now, your kids can't hang with it. Kill it. Kill it now. Kill it now. So they ain't got to fight with it later in their flesh. Because all this stuff is about your flesh. See, most times, know what we do with this stuff? We just knock it down. But we don't kill it. And whatever you don't kill, I don't care how much you come to church. I don't care how much you do in the ministry. If you didn't kill it, you're going to see it again somewhere. You might not see it in your life, but you're going to see it in your grandkids. You're going to see it in your children. How many times you see people that don't even hang around their kin folks act just like them? Because somebody didn't kill it. Tell me, how you acting like your dad? You ain't around him. You acting like your grandfather. You ain't never met him. Because he didn't kill it when he had the opportunity to kill it. You better kill this stuff while you can. You better kill. I know I'm going to take my seat back. Somebody need to kill. Somebody ain't killed something out here. Jesus. But as long as you got breath in your body, you still got strength to kill it. You got to make up your mind that what follow me is not going to follow my children, not going to follow my grandchildren, and is not going to follow my great-grandchildren. Is there anybody in here that made up their mind that they're going to let God cut whatever he needs to cut so their children don't have to go through what they went through? It's time to cut it. Amen.